December 7, 1941, began like any other Sunday in Hawaii, sunny, peaceful, and full of promise. American sailors at Pearl Harbor were waking up, planning for church, baseball, or a swim. The Pacific Fleet's ships floated calmly in the harbor. No one suspected that history was about to change forever. Suddenly, a strange growing hum filled the air. People looked up and saw planes, marked with the red circle of Japan. In moments, the planes dived, and explosions shattered the morning. The attack on Pearl Harbor had begun. Chaos erupted, bombs rained down, torpedoes struck ships, and thick smoke filled the sky. The peaceful morning turned into a nightmare of fire and destruction. Sailors, soldiers, and civilians scrambled for survival. The world would never be the same after this day. Before the attack, most Americans wanted to stay out of the war overseas. They believed the oceans would keep them safe. But Pearl Harbor proved America was vulnerable. The shock and anger united the country. This attack woke a sleeping giant. America was pulled into the biggest war the world had ever known. The events of that morning would echo for generations. Pearl Harbor became a symbol of both tragedy and resolve. It was the day America's destiny changed. Pearl Harbor, a deep natural harbor on Oahu, was the heart of America's Pacific naval power. Its narrow entrance made it easy to defend, and its location allowed the U.S. to watch over the Pacific. Thousands of sailors and soldiers lived and worked there, enjoying the beauty and peace of Hawaii. The base was busy, but life felt far from war. As tensions rose worldwide, Pearl Harbor's importance grew. In Europe, Hitler's war raged. In Asia, Japan expanded aggressively. The U.S. moved its Pacific Fleet to Pearl Harbor in 1940 as a warning to Japan. American leaders hoped this show of strength would keep the peace. But for those stationed there, Hawaii still felt like paradise. Most believed war could never reach their island home. The sense of safety was shattered on December 7, 1941. The attack was shocking because it struck a place that felt untouchable. Pearl Harbor was more than a base. It was home. Its loss was deeply personal for all Americans. Why did Japan attack? Japan wanted to build an empire in Asia and needed resources like oil and metal. The U.S. opposed Japan's aggression and cut off vital supplies. Without American oil, Japan's military would grind to a halt. Faced with a choice, retreat or fight, Japan's leaders chose war. They believed a surprise attack could cripple the U.S. Pacific Fleet and keep America out of the war. Admiral Yamamoto, the mastermind, knew it was a huge risk. Japan's plan launched a surprise air assault from aircraft carriers across the Pacific. Their goal was to destroy American battleships and carriers at Pearl Harbor. They hoped this would buy time to secure their empire. The attack was a desperate gamble. Japan hoped to shock America into staying out of the conflict. Instead, they awakened a powerful enemy. The decision would change the fate of nations. At 7:55 a.m., the first wave of Japanese planes struck Pearl Harbor. Over 180 bombers, torpedo planes, and fighters descended from 6 hidden carriers. American forces were caught off guard. Radar warnings were ignored. The main target, Battleship Row, where 7 U.S. battleships sat side by side. Bombs and torpedoes tore through steel and decks. The USS Arizona exploded, killing over 1,000 men in seconds. The USS Oklahoma capsized, trapping hundreds. Other ships were sunk or badly damaged. Japanese planes also destroyed most American aircraft on the ground. The attack came in 2 waves, lasting less than 2 hours. When it ended, 21 ships were sunk or damaged, 180 aircraft destroyed. More than 2,400 Americans were killed, and over 1,100 wounded. Japan lost just 29 planes. It was a devastating blow to America, a day of tragedy and loss, but it would not break the nation's spirit. News of the attack stunned the nation. Disbelief turned to anger as families gathered around radios for updates. On December 8, President Roosevelt addressed Congress, a date which will live in infamy. He called the attack a betrayal and asked for a declaration of war. Congress responded with near-unanimous support. Soon, Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. as well. America was now fully engaged in World War II. Across the country, young men rushed to enlist. Factories shifted to war production, and women joined the workforce in record numbers. The attack meant to cripple America instead, united and strengthened it. Pearl Harbor became a rallying cry for victory. World War II transformed America overnight. Millions joined the military, leaving home to fight in Europe and the Pacific. The entire nation mobilized. Factories made tanks and planes. Families rationed food and fuel. Victory gardens sprang up, and children collected scrap for the war effort. Women filled jobs in factories, symbolized by Rosie the Riveter. African Americans moved north for defense jobs and served bravely, despite discrimination. The war changed American society, opening new opportunities and challenging old barriers. The fighting was fierce island battles in the Pacific, massive campaigns in Europe. Famous battles like Midway and D-Day shaped the outcome. After nearly 4 years, the war ended in 1945. The cost was high. Over 400,000 Americans lost their lives. America emerged as a world leader, forever changed by the conflict. The lessons and sacrifices of the war would shape the nation's future. Pearl Harbor was the spark that set it all in motion. Today, Pearl Harbor is both a naval base and a place of remembrance. The USS Arizona Memorial floats above the sunken battleship, honoring those entombed within. Visitors take a quiet boat ride to the memorial, where they see the rusted ship below. A marble wall lists the names of the 1,177 crewmen who died on the Arizona. The site is a powerful reminder of the human cost. Drops of oil still rise from the wreck, the tears of the Arizona. Nearby, the USS Missouri stands where Japan surrendered in 1945, symbolizing both tragedy and victory. Other memorials honor the USS Oklahoma and the many who served. The Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum preserves the history of that day. Millions visit each year to learn, reflect, and pay their respects. Pearl Harbor's story is one of loss, courage, and resilience. It marks both the beginning and end of America's war. The memory endures, connecting past and present. Pearl Harbor is now a national memorial, dedicated to preserving history and honoring sacrifice. The Visitor Center welcomes people from around the world. Exhibits and films bring the events of December 7th to life. Artifacts and personal stories make the history real and relatable. Park rangers and veterans share insights and answer questions. The site encourages reflection on the costs of war and the value of peace. It's not a place to glorify conflict, but to remember and learn. For many, visiting is a pilgrimage, a way to connect with the past. For others, it's a lesson in reconciliation, as former enemies are now allies. Pearl Harbor stands as a testament to resilience and hope. Its lessons are as important today as ever. Remembering Pearl Harbor is vital. It teaches us to stay vigilant and united. The attack was a wake-up call about the dangers of complacency. Remember Pearl Harbor became a rallying cry for resilience. The tragedy brought Americans together with a shared purpose. It reminds us of the strength found in unity and determination. Studying Pearl Harbor helps us understand the causes of conflict and the value of peace. The friendship between the US and Japan today shows that even bitter enemies can become allies. We honor the memory of those who died and those who survived. Their courage and sacrifice are part of our national story. By remembering, we ensure the lessons of that day are never forgotten.